What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? Bogales here, and welcome to another episode of MES Podcast, episode number 12 with the boys, Pablo Wills Blanco, Mustache John. I never pronounce mustache the best way, you know what I mean?
Oh, you're doing great. You're doing great.
I'll try.
That's lovely.
Anyhow, we're here to celebrate Barcelona just like always on a weekly basis. So remember to follow us on social media, to give us a 5-star rating wherever you're listening this podcast to. In Spotify, I know you can now give ratings and comments, so we appreciate that. And comment there because we want in the future to start incorporating our fan base, our groups, our members, the roomies, if we're still calling them that. We don't have a proper name for you yet, so we'll find one.
The roomies.
The roomies. I love the roomies.
For now, they're still the roomies, right?
Yeah.
I like the roomies.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll keep it. If somebody has a better idea, obviously comment. But yeah, like Buga said, we're trying to keep the conversation going. We're trying to build this community based off of those conversations and those connections. So let us know your thoughts. Let us know your questions. We are going to start highlighting some of those comments and actually responding to some of those live during the recording. So let us know your thoughts, folks.
And yeah, I'm just going to start right away with the main man, the guy in yellow, the shark. Ahí está el tiburón. That is Ferran Torres. And you know, guys, I love Ferran Torres. I just want to give one bit of this podcast to dedicate to Ferran Torres because, believe it or not, he has changed my life. And
I mean, you've been on the Ferran train all season long. To Buga's credit, this is not new. It goes all season. Yeah,
it goes beyond football for Bulgar.
Yeah, it goes beyond football for me. I think adopting that mentality of self-criticism, but in a positive way, like trying to be more proactive in the way that you address, certain criticism that you get outside in the world and, stuff like that. It's all up here, guys. It's all up here in the brain. Whatever you think about yourself, that's what you'll get. And I think that we need, how they have these memes going like, oh, look at you, find you someone who looks at you the way X person looks at you, But I think that the phrasing should be said, it should be find someone who looks at you the way that you look at yourself. Like, if you look at yourself badly, you'll probably get someone who looks at you the same way. But if you look at yourself like with positiveness, like Ferran Torres, I think that could be a day. From now on, for me, for Buga, the 21st of January of every year is going to be International Ferran Torres Day. I wanted to make it the International Shark Day. But the Shark Day already has one date, and that's the 14th of July. So the 14th of July, I'm going to celebrate like crazy.
Yeah.
So, guys,
do they have Shark Week in Peru? Is that a thing
of course,
for you guys?
Discovery Channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
so
mean,
for you, are you
changes,
just going to watch... Yeah, you're just going to watch Ferran Torres highlights all week? Is that
that's what I'm going to do
Shark
Week
now?
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my God. Did you say the 14th of July?
Yeah.
The finals of the Euros. So are you telling me
that Spain is going to get to the... Yeah, probably. I don't know.
The Luis de la Fuente's boys.
You mean more like Ferran Torres' boys, right?
Sorry.
You say it today, the Ferraneta. That's how you called it?
Yeah, the Ferraneta, yeah.
All right, so before we continue on this Ferran Torres love fest, because I'm not disregarding that at all. I love what he was saying. Can we not skip over Lamine Yamal, please?
Yeah.
Was this not his best match for Barcelona? And this was, for me... We've seen little glimpses. We've seen little tastes of what Lamine can do. This was full-on, prime-time Lamine Yamal. This was the winger, the classic Barcelona winger that we've been missing. This is what Buga's been asking for. This is what we've all been needing. Instead of trying to possession our way up, give it to the winger. Let him smoke a few guys. Open things up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was excited watching Lamine. This was it brought the spark back. It brought the fun back for me. What about you, Papa? What did you think about it?
Yeah, I completely agree. That's the way I felt, John, watching it. I was like, get the ball to Lamine because it's going to be fun. And we haven't really had that at Barcelona this season. It hasn't been like, it's sort of been like, when are we going to score and why is it going to be from a cross? Like but with Lamine, it's like I was like, get this guy the ball. He was beating everyone, and you're right. I think we've seen glimpses of it this season. I think his level drops off a little bit, which is just understandable as a 16-year-old, and Xavi obviously took him out of the team. He looked a lot like he did. I remember when he came off the bench in pre-season against, was it Tottenham in the Gamper? And I was thinking, this is one of the best talents I've ever seen. And then he carried on to the opening games in the league, I think against Cadiz and then Villarreal away. He was very good. I don't think since then he's reached those levels, But today against Betis, my God. I mean, I thought that was a complete winger performance. You're right, beating players. He could go inside, he could go outside. The timing of the passes, I thought, for a 16-year-old, like, the way he was releasing the ball was so intelligent, and the picking the right pass. Well, you just look at Ferran's the fourth goal at the end there.
Yep.
I think the commentary I had, they said, yeah, the easy pass, and probably what I would have done was just played it wide to Vitor Roque and like keep possession. But that ball is just to perfection in between Abner and through the Betis defence. That is superb. He was doing it all game long. When he hit the post, obviously, earlier as well, I thought he was on a different level. Him and Isco as well for Betis, I thought both of them were the guys who are running the show. I thought when they got the ball, it was like untouchable, right? Ferran did a lot of good things, and the 3 goals were superb, and I think he was brilliant as well. Ferran, not just in his goals, by the way, but in his overall play. But Lamine Yamal, you're right, John. I think shoulders above everyone else on the pitch, and at 16, that's very impressive.
16. He's only 16. EAFC won't even put him on the game yet. That's how young he is. You can't even play with him.
Are you being serious?
I'm dead serious. They're like, he's too young. We can't have him on. They have a rule. I think you have to be 17 before they include you.
Yep, that's true.
So this dude's
true.
smoking people in La Liga, and EA's like, we can't.
Yeah,
we can't
it's too much.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. Booga, what do you think? What else stood out besides Ferran for you?
Well, I just got to mention Lamine. I've been looking at his dribbles in this game. 7 dribbles attempts, 5 completed. Incredible. He hit the woodwork twice. He created 2 big chances. Mm-hmm. But also here I wanted to highlight, I think that with these wingers, with these natural wingers, we have, I think, more presence when it comes to pressuring the ball, especially when the ball goes to the sides, with the flank, like on the left, on the right. Since we have a player naturally sticking to those positions, we can win the ball in those situations. Because he had 14 ground duel ones. 14. That's insane for a winger in this game. And I think that is something we must highlight as well. And like you said, 16 years old. So now I put something to the table that when I was watching this game, I just had to ask you guys. Is Lamine Yamal someone who we must... Because of course, he isn't going to play every single game. He's 16. We know what happens with Pedri, with Gavi. The same can happen with someone like Alejandro Valde. He has not played at the same rate as Pedri and Gavi, right? But if Lamine Yamal starts getting more call-ups, he goes to the Euros, perhaps he starts playing, Luis de la Fuente likes him, whatnot. Should he be a guy right now that at 16 for Barcelona, we should be keeping, in the ice bath, ready for the big games, for the most important games that comes our way? Because I think right now he gives us more than... I don't want to say Rafinha, because Rafinha is more, let's say, consistent. He's creating chances always almost the same, but when it comes to hitting that extra level, that X factor, I think Lamine has that over Rafinha. I think the best Lamine is 100% better than the best Rafinha.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. For me, I think it's Lamine over Rafinha now off that performance. But he does have to maintain. You did say the consistency. He's got to maintain that. For me, the difference was how early and how high up the pitch Lamine got the ball. Like it's for match after match, I feel like we've been very slow getting the ball up the pitch. Then we get it to our wingers when we're already in the final third and they've got their defense set up. That's a much different story than having Lamine be the outlet. He gets to turn, he gets to beat his man one-on-one, and then all of a sudden things are open. So I don't know how much of that is Xavi's doing. I don't know how much of that is Betis and how they approach the match, because we tend to get a pretty open match against Betis. So
always,
should we be pumping the brakes on our excitement a little bit?
That is just the point I was going to make, John, because I think it was at the end of last episode. Did I say to you, but I was like, get a statement win against Betis, and you said beating Betis is not a statement win. And I sort of know what you mean, because we sort of beat them at the Benito Villamarín every time, and it's always with a lot of goals scored. Mm-hmm. And it's because they don't play like anyone really else in this league up against us. They leave gap after gap in midfield. Their spaces and our players are just freedom. It's like joy for them. I do think we played better full stop, though. We were doing way less long balls. You're right, John. I think the way we were using the wingers was so much better. Balde as well, I thought. So it's not just that Betis made it easy for us, but I think they made it easier than other teams do. I mean, look, what Betis also offer, though, is a lot of quality. The first 20 minutes of that second half, that's what some of the other teams who bank in can't offer at the same time sometimes, you know. Some of their players, Luis Enrique is a really good player, I like him. Fekir, he scored, like I said, when Borja Iglesias came on. They got quality, Betis. They do have quality, they can hurt you like they did to us.
What I like about this game is that I think, first of all, I'm going to start negative. I think that, like, I agree with Pablo's point, because when we take a look at the midfielders in this game, I don't think I can single out one midfielder was, like, incredible. And that means that probably most of the game happened, you know, in that final third. And the attackers are the ones who stole the show. But when we're talking about Barcelona, when you look at the midfielders, when there's a standout like a Frankie, a Gundogan, a Pedri, you need a player like that for games, you know, when you have a closed back line, when they're dropping back, when they're parking the bus, when they're defending. That's what you need. In a game like this, you're going to see a Ferran Torres, a Lamine Yamal getting that confidence. Yeah. I think it's going to work, hopefully, so that when we get into those games against the, you know, the 2 lines of 5, the 2 lines of 4, that's when Ferran Torres and Lamine Yamal can have more confidence. Lamine Yamal to take on people, Ferran Torres to take on people, or just be more confident to try different things, because that's what I think I saw in this game. People were trying stuff, because to get that space, you need to try. You need to try to beat on a man. Balde was doing that, Ferran as well, Lamine as well. Lamine incredible always, because that's his talent. But I just want to focus on the midfield, because I think that still I haven't seen this midfield of Gundogan, Frankie, and Pedri to the levels that I want them to see, because we still conceded, we still didn't manage the tempo of the game as much. I know that a lot of that isn't just due to the players, and especially not only the midfield, but I want to see more control of the game from Barcelona. We're just way too, way too unbalanced, vulnerable, too fluctuating. Like, we just change very quickly. In what, less than 10 minutes they scored 2 goals? Even was it like 5 maybe?
Yeah, it was nothing. It was 5 basically.
Yeah. No, actually, 4 or 5 minutes. So I think that Barcelona needs to fix that, especially when it comes to being better, when it comes to competing against the strongest teams.
Yeah, I mean, the test, we got the perfect chance on Wednesday night, surely. That is literally like our biggest nightmare, no? San Mamés, Cup quarter-final, away from home, that atmosphere. They're not gonna play like Betis. They're not going to leave those gaps where they're going to be wide open. Valverde is going to have them tactically sound set up. That is going to be one heck of a test for us. Yeah. And if we want to prove ourselves, of course. I think almost every Barcelona fan is waiting to get knocked out, which sounds weird to say, but I personally feel that's the feeling of the fan base going into this game.
Like and it's understandable. Our bogey ground.
You don't want to go to San Mamés in a cup quarter final. You just do not. In a single legged game, you do not want that. It's the perfect chance. It's the perfect chance to prove ourselves, genuinely. I think people are like ducking out of these opportunities and going like, well, we're in trouble now. Like, we're Barcelona. Yeah. We need to stop that. Like, if you want to win the Copa del Rey, then you've got to be able to beat Athletic Club. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. We do have, I'll say, this is really our only test up until we go away to Napoli next month in February. We've got a pretty easy run of, not easy, but easier. Villarreal, Osasuna, Alaves, Granada, Celta Vigo. We should be taking care of business there. This really is one where we can get a statement win. We can get some momentum. We can sharpen things up, polish it up just a little bit against these other La Liga teams. We hit Napoli full stride. That's the game plan. That's what we got to go with. We're a month away from the time that we're recording this. We're exactly a month away from Napoli. And that's the focus, right? Because I think, as Xavi said today, there's a lot out of our control in terms of La Liga. So I think Champions League is going to be the focus.
Maybe the Copa, you know, the Copa, the Champions League, that has to be the focus. It has to be because...
Yeah, not that we're going to win Champions League, but if we get a good run, a strong performance, right? We play Barcelona football. Maybe we get a lucky lineup and we get into the semis, right? Something like that. Yeah. And I think even without another trophy, a positive performance in Europe could be enough to save Xavi's job at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I wanted to agree with that, yeah.
I also wanted to talk about this game about another point. I wanted to get your opinion, guys. What do you think about Lewandowski's substitution in the 60th minute?
Boy, it's a statement for me. It's a big statement. I have thoughts on Vitor, but I do want to hear your guys' reactions to that substitution first. What do you think, Pablo?
I think it was the right call. He's not getting involved in the games. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. He's not offering the team anything up front. It's that simple for me. It's pretty black and white. And I think Xavi said it. We wanted someone who could make runs in behind like Vitor did and stretch the back line a little bit. I mean, Lewandowski, honestly, like he looks like he's playing with two left feet to me.
Yeah,
he can't control the ball. Like we give him the ball and he's so like it won't stick. He's not fluid. He can't turn. I mean, the decline's incredible. Sad for us.
His passing, I made note of it in the first half, was just short, medium, long, all of them missing. It was rough, very rough to watch. And I do wonder if, those reports of some of what leaked out of the locker room with the players saying to Xavi that he's got to be consistent with how he manages player to player. I wonder if they were talking about Lewandowski.
Oh, yeah. They
He's the odd man out. He's not Spanish. He's not from La Masia. He's a good 15 years older than some of these kids. I can see how Lewandowski's just not connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think that when we take a look at the entire problem, Lewandowski isn't for me just yet, the main thing. The main problem out of everything, I don't think it's just yet. But I also do think that Xavi probably went, like you were saying, that they weren't happy, they wanted to be consistent. I think that Xavi it was very easy for him to maybe just say, like, he's the only striker we got. Maybe that's the only thing he could kind of hold on to. But now that Vitor Roque is in, I think that is sort of what Xavi can no longer use that excuse, or maybe if he was using it, I don't know. But now it's like, we have this other striker, we have to test him out, we have to get him going. We can see that he can score goals and he's more mobile, more flexible. He can still mold in with whatever striker Xavi wants. So he no longer has that, that option, that excuse to run off and say, oh, we don't have another player. We have to go with Vitor Roque. So what are your thoughts on Vitor Roque? This is the match where he has played the most minutes. Do you think there was any sort of impact? Because personally, I think he's still very raw. Like, I think he still needs a little bit more time. I still think he needs a little more time, especially to adapt to this team. He's not. I'm really surprised that we were looking for him a lot more. There, of course, were two chances where I think he kind of fluked it, but that's mainly because he's young. He's 18 years of age. He's playing at Barcelona, the very first game in La Liga where he has a lot of minutes. I think that sort of option. I think right now, I was looking at his movement and sticking to his position. He was very close to what I would say the manager would always want. He's like always right there to pressure the guy that he needs to. He's always right there in the center, sticking to his position, doing the run that the call makes, but never really trying anything out more risky. So I think right now he's just trying to, let's say, impress the manager, just making it safe for him to say that he's still in the pecking order, or making sure that he climbs up that ladder. But I want to see a bit more of that. I don't know what the word in English, but in Spanish is desparpajo, that flair that he was known for, in Brazil. So what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think that he is, let me say this. I am not worried about Vitor Roque at all. No concerns, right? I think he's recognizing that there is going to be a little bit of a learning curve getting up to the pace of La Liga. I have not seen him comfortably receive the ball, turn, run at a defender. I haven't seen him comfortably get involved in the passing and build-up. He looks nervy. He looks a little bit just a step behind. And you can see in the fouls that he was committing today against Betis, 2, 3, 4 times, he's a step too late and he's clipping the heels of the opponent. One of them was a pretty nasty challenge that I think he meant to do. But the other ones, I think he's just got to get a little bit more time to get up to the pace of the match, maybe get those nerves out of the way, because when he steps on, he's pretty wide-eyed when he's crossing the sideline there. So I think he's going to need a little bit more time than what people perhaps thought. But again, I'm not worried about Vitor. I'm not concerned about Vitor. I think Vitor has the time, and it'll be okay.
So now also, the other guy I want to talk about is the little shark, as I like to call him, and that's Joao Felix. What do you think about Joao Felix? Because right now, is with this performance for Ferran, if Xavi still wants to continue with Lewandowski and giving Vitor Roque a little bit of that adaptation process, I think that maybe Joao Felix is still second fiddle to someone like Ferran Torres. So you think this goal helps him in any way? Because I've been looking at some stats. We were looking at some things in Twitter. Joao Felix has been able to turn on those moments of magic that we know he has, but he just has to be more consistent. Like he did it today. He's done it. He scored the goal against Porto. He scored the goal for, I don't know, another winning goal. I don't know if you can tell me which one you can remember, but
Atletico
Madrid. Yeah. So it's like he does have it in him to have those flair moments. Something that last season's squad we haven't had. I think that last season compared to this year, Joao Felix is more of a X factor, someone that can win a game out of nowhere. So that is something that can help us. But what do you see with his performance today? Do you think that maybe we can see more of Joao? Or maybe less of Lewandowski? Because I was also thinking that maybe Xavi starts to play Ferran through the middle, like he did in where he goes hit two later goals, I think. And then you just put Joao Felix on the left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's what people are saying. Lamine right wing, Joao Felix off the left, and then Ferran on the middle. I think that's what people would probably almost want midweek against Athletic Club now. I think that's what people would be probably calling out for. So, we'll see if he goes for that. I mean, Joao Felix is such a weird case in football. He is the most back and forth footballer maybe in the squad, unfortunately, and he has got that quality. I think that in terms of quality, he might be top 5 in the squad. I thought the goal was superb. They did a 1-2, and that finish is outrageously good, brilliant, absolutely brilliant moment of magic at the end. And like you say, he's won a few games for us. To be fair, he has got some big goals, and I look back at some of his performances, and I think he's done really well. And then other times he just goes missing. I mean, in the cup midweek again, I thought he was woeful. And he was in the round before as well. He gets hooked after 60 minutes, did absolutely nothing with or without the ball, And it's like, well, that's meant to be Joao Felix, against a third tier team. And how is he not taking people on? He's just losing the ball every time he gets it, and then comes on and looks so sharp. So that has always been the issue with Joao Felix, unfortunately. I know it's a cliche thing to say because it's sort of the general opinion of him, but I feel like that sort of is true, unfortunately. But I think he's taken a bit of a step up in that attitude and responsibility at Barcelona, and I hope he can kick on for the rest of the season. But with Lewandowski's drop on form, there's no reason why he shouldn't be taking out that left wing spot a bit more. And if he can link up nicely with Ferran Torres, like I thought he did today off the bench, by the way, on a few occasions when he came on, then no reason why he doesn't start Wednesday night for me.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well,
I'm not
before we
change...
move,
no,
go ahead.
What are you gonna say? Or no?
I was going to say before we move away from Copa del Rey, because I know Pablo's itching to talk a little bit about the Real Madrid results, and I want to hear the rant. Do we want to get some predictions in for Wednesday night? Barcelona visiting Athletic Club in the Copa del Rey.
I'm gonna go with a Barcelona 2-1 win in extra time, with a goal from Ferran Torres.
Okay, all right, the Ferran double. Okay, Pablo, what do you think?
I'm also going to go extra time. I'm going to go 1-0 Barca in extra time. We hang on by a thread. Maybe one more point before. Yeah, you all feel free to go first, John. But I wanted to ask about Iñaki Peña, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, I can't wait for Ter Stegen to be back.
Yeah, let's have John give his prediction.
Hang on. Let me get my prediction in. Then we'll talk Peña.
Wait, guys. Also, I want to make this clear.
Sorry, John.
I'm not allowing us to change subject before I get your opinions on Ferran Torres. I want to hear you open your mouth about that guy.
Okay. Buga says you will show Ferran his love.
Yes, you will.
All right, so my prediction for Copa del Rey, I'm going to say it's 1-1 at the end of regular time. We go through 2 periods of extra time into penalties, and Barcelona wins it.
Oh, I'm not up to that.
So none of us think in the 90 then.
No.
It's a weekday,
3 for
bro. I
3
cannot take that
into extra
emotion. It's a work day. I cannot take it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm glad we're facing them in the quarterfinal and not the semifinal.
Yeah.
Really?
I think Athletic Club are a team that in the Copa del Rey get harder and harder to beat the further they go in the tournament. So let's get them now. Let's get it over with. Let's go into their stadium, San Mames. Let's take care of business. Like you said, Pablo. Like, let's stop being scared of this. Let's stop being woeful about these matches. Like the reaction that who was it? Unionistas had when they drew Barcelona.
Yeah.
That's the kind of enthusiasm that Barcelona players should have for these matches. Like, we have the privilege, we have the honor of playing for the Copa del Rey. We get a chance to go in, get some excitement going, put on a show for the fans. That should be the mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a massive game.
The shark mentality.
So Iñaki Peña.
I'm very happy with Ferran Torres. I'm happy that he got his hat trick. I'm happy it was in his 100th match. I'm happy that he is playing with a lot of confidence right now. I think that it's taken some time to get here, but I think maybe he has arrived.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's the question, isn't it? You know, can he maintain it? Can he be a consistent scorer, someone who you get the ball to and it's like danger? Because that isn't always the case with Ferran. I don't personally think that when he was getting the ball in the Clásico, I didn't think anything was going to happen. Unfortunately, you know, so he needs to, sorry, Paul, he needs to get to that level consistently where it's like, right, Ferran's got the ball, here we go. This is one of our main men in attack, like Lamine had today, and I said the same for all of them in the attack, Joao Felix as well. We need these guys to start becoming top players. And I think there's a bit of a pandemic, actually, that we don't have many of them in football anymore, actually. I was talking to one of my mates about this the other day, and you even look at the wingers who now people brand as world-class, like the Sakas and stuff, they're not world-class. They're not world-class because every game they don't get the ball and you're like, ooh. Like, they can have a lot of off games and just so many weak performances. It's only like a select few, like the Mbappes and stuff, and there's not many of them left, really. So probably Vinicius, to be fair, despite all of his clownery, he's probably up there too in terms of you know what you're getting with him. But so Ferran needs to bring that, but I give him massive credit for his mentality. And you saying at the start, ball guy, like that, it's helped you even personally. But I think Xavi said in a press conference that Ferran Torres has the mentality that every Barcelona player should have, in that he's not scared to play for the club. He steps up. He doesn't listen to the outside noise. He's constantly focused on getting better. And he has got better, by the way. Like, all of this, like Ferran, like motivational stuff, the difference from Ferran last season to this season is massive. He looks a lot more mature. He's better in front of goal for sure. So he's becoming a problem for defences in Spain. I think he's up to 11 goals now for the season. I think that's one behind Lewandowski as the top scorer. So very impressive for him. I'm happy for him personally because I think he's a top bloke as well, and I've always liked him. And I'm just happy that he's getting some flowers. But I just want him to kick on now and show that he can be that consistent winger or forward for Barca, which he needs to show.
In football, I read once, like in life, you have to be. There are three things that makes a people like. What's the word? How do you say exitoso?
Buga the Buddha.
How do you say exitoso, Pablo? In English.
Well, like successful.
Yeah, that makes a people someone successful. In football, I think I'm not going to talk about life. I'm going to talk about football. I think that in football, you either have talent, you either have simply like super amazing, like I don't know what you call this, like mentality or something like that, and you have like
the hard work.
Yeah, and hard work. You know, the hard work, people who tracks back and stuff like that. And the other one is just, I think, like a little bit of luck, which the luck with the manager, with the club, wherever you want. You need to have one of those three to succeed, and I think that at least you need to have at least two to succeed. That's the thing, because you can erase one. And I think that Ferran Torres maybe is not the most talented player in the world, but I think that if he works hard, he can get there. And we've seen there from someone like a Pedro, for instance. I like Pedro a lot. I think he's a quality player, but he always was there working hard. And I think that players like that is what we need. And right now, Barcelona doesn't have many of them. Someone that I can just go and say, okay, I know that you're 100% going to give your best when you enter that field. That's the sort of, like you were saying, the mentality that we want to see. And with another mentality, what do we think about Iñaki Peña, like Pablo was saying? Because I agree with Pablo. I think that he's clumsy coming up for the cross. I think he doesn't communicate well with his center backs. I think he is not imposing enough. I think that if I'm Araujo, I rely more on myself rather than him. I think that he's not like Ferran Torres. That he's not a guy that I'm simply gonna hear, and I'm gonna listen to. And he says force defenders, he says come back, I'll come back. That's the problem I think with Iñaki Peña. He needs to believe it more if he wants to be a goalkeeper for Barcelona.
Yeah, he's quite sheepish coming off of his line. He doesn't have the physical presence of Ter Stegen. in terms of closing the ball down, punching away the balls that are crossed in. And you saw him struggle a few times early in this match, so much so that now Araujo and others are going for the balls when Inaki Peña should be clearing them out, and they're running into each other, causing a lot of headaches for Barcelona. So I think the players are also feeling that lack of confidence. They're doing a good job of not showing it, right? Like they have to be supportive. It's Peña or one of the 16-year-olds that we have coming up from Barca Athletic, right?
Yeah.
One of them is an American, so maybe we just do it. I don't know. Maybe we pull the trigger on it. Who knows? But it's Peña, right? So you gotta take it easy on him right now. But I think everybody knows he's not the guy. It's like watching Romeu, right? You know he's doing his best, but it's also not good enough, and they're being asked to do what they're not capable of doing. That's how I view Peña right now.
Yeah, I just feel bad. I just worry that like I'm looking at San Mamés on Wednesday night, and I'm like, that could be a night where you need your goalkeeper. You need big saves. You need a bit of a miracle. You think, my God, how have we survived that? Like Ter Stegen's done for us on quite a few occasions. I remember at that exact stadium, by the way, and I don't know, a set piece team like Athletic Club and a team who are smart like that, they could cause us big issues. But you're right. I mean, we're almost conceding a goal a game, by the way, by these stupid, and it's always Iñaki Peña and it's always Araujo. I don't know if it's both of their fault, but I think it's definitely because, like you say, John, he's sheepish. I think there's no confidence. He doesn't exuberate any confidence in that back line. He stays on his line. When he does come out, people are like, "Oh no, not you. We'll deal with it." It's like, that ball. It was Luis Enrique crossed it in, for their first goal that Isco scored. So avoidable. That I was saying to my family, that with Ter Stegen is just a catch, and we just probably go on and win the game 2-0 or 3-0, all calm, because it's Peña. Araujo's going for the same ball, and even then, if Ter Stegen and Araujo going for the same ball, Ter Stegen would just clear him out. He would get it anyway, but when Araujo and Peña go for the same ball, Araujo always gets there first. He takes it off him, and then it's like we're both out of position, and Isco scores. Happens almost every game, by the way. Happened against Almeria as well at the end of December. Do you remember with that MES, same two players? I feel like it's happened since then too, but maybe I've forgotten. But it's a big problem. But in general, I mean, he made one really good save today. He sort of kept the ball close instead of rebounding it. I think Isco running in for a tap in. But other than that, I think he's a little bit of an issue, to be honest with you. He's just in many, many ways, and I'm just waiting for Ter Stegen to come back.
So when are we getting Ter Stegen back?
They
say for Napoli now.
Ooh, that'd be nice. It'd be nice. But Peña is a number 2. It's a far cry from the days of a Jose Pinto. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, really.
Oh my gosh, the match. I believe it was in Copa del Rey. I could be wrong, but whatever match it was a penalty, and it was a big moment. And he stares down the guy taking the penalty, and he points. He goes, "I'm going this way," and just daring him, go ahead, put it right there, because I'm going this way. And then he saves it. Yeah, because I love that.
He was
Martinez type behavior.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Pinto reminds me of a Diego Martinez. I agree. 100%. I think I mentioned it last time in the sense that when we look at a backup goalkeeper, the drop cannot be that far. I think that when you look at Ter Stegen, you're looking at one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and then you drop to Iñaki Peña, who's maybe if you take all goalkeepers in La Liga, where would he be ranked right now? Where would he be ranked?
19th or 20th.
Yeah, so it's I think the drop-off is massive. I think someone like a Neto, for instance, he was a starter for Fiorentina, he was a starter for Juventus, he was a starter for Chesney. He's amazing killing right now in the Premier League. I think he's a great goalkeeper.
He is.
That's when we had Jasper Cillessen as well. I was sure, he's not Ter Stegen, but he's good.
I like Cillessen.
Yeah.
I had confidence in Cillessen.
He was quality. Yeah. He was good. Yeah. Both of them were very good. Neto and Cillessen.
So I think that's the difference. I think the difference is that right now we don't have a goalkeeper that can do a job. And I think that's where that's the faults of not planning correctly or having, financial power where it leads us.
Yeah. It's the financial problems. Because if you got to cut the budget somewhere, it's on your backup keeper.
Of course, yeah. I was going to say, we used to spend, what did we spend? I think we spent 30 million each on Cillessen and Neto at the time.
Yeah. Ugh.
Imagine. That's like a luxury. Jesus. I'm just, how weird is that one? Anyway, yeah.
That's too funny. Okay, all right. We've been teasing it, and I feel like we're getting away from it. Pablo, what happened today with Real Madrid?
Well, I mean, just for me, another disgraceful robbery. I think this is one of the first times that I've seen a very united social media against it. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I wasn't watching the game because I just stay away from Real Madrid because I can't stand it. Every time I watch it, I think this is a really even game. Like, oh, Mallorca or whoever it is are doing really well, and bang, set piece, and I'm like, oh, like, honestly, like, I thought they were going to drop points. You know, they never, ever, ever do. So don't fall into the trap. But today again, I mean, this is ridiculous, and I think that what upsets me most about it is I don't think it's widely acknowledged enough how much they've been doing this over the years. In my opinion, yep. I think they've won a lot of titles, La Liga, Champions Leagues by it. I really do, and I don't say that lightly because they've been brilliant, Real Madrid, and they're a winning team, and they've played some great football, and they always stick into the end. But you cannot avoid the basic and clear and obvious refereeing favours towards them, in my opinion. You just cannot, as a football pundit or anything, or as someone who's interested in football, you shouldn't overlook it because it happens all the time. And unfortunately in Spain, then we have like Real Madrid in the press because it's so controlled. Spain is Real Madrid, especially in football, you know, it just is them. And we've seen like the Negreira case that we came out, and that was Real Madrid's fans' way to go, it was you paying the referees. Anyone who asked me about that, because some people ask me about that in England and go, what happened there then, Pablo? And I'm like, if you've watched Spanish football over the last 10 years, you will know for a fact that Barcelona haven't been paying referees because Barcelona have been robbed out of many, many titles. It is clear who the referees favour in Spain. It is crystal clear. And I think that actually most clubs in La Liga would agree if you ask them who the referees favour, because it's pretty clear. It's institutional. It goes back a lot of years, and it's just been happening for a long time. I mean, again, today it's a disgrace. Almeria's third goal, don't know why it was ruled out, cheap for me. And then Vinicius has scored with his elbow. Like, he's genuinely scored.
Flat out handball.
Have you seen it yet, John?
Oh, yeah. That's the one clip that I saw. I know there were multiple VAR calls that went in Madrid's favor. I think there was 5 of them from what somebody said, but I didn't verify that, so apologies if I'm misquoting. But the handball for me was so egregious and so comparable to Gavi's handball earlier. I forget who we were playing, but cost us 3 points if I remember.
Getafe.
Yeah, so just come on. But like you said, the internet, I think, is pretty unanimous in that this was a robbery.
Yeah, they are. And I'm happy they were also bringing up past robberies and saying, hey, Real Madrid have been doing this for a while. I am happy with that. But I think it's sad because I think that, look, I want to put on record that I think Barcelona's problems this season haven't been referees at all. It's been us. I don't think we've been good enough. But I also want to put on record that I think this title race would be a lot better without the favours towards Real Madrid. Like a match like this, yeah, we should be at 4 points with Real Madrid tonight, guys. We should be at 4 points. Make no mistake about that. And then it's title race on. We go from here. We've got a big win away to Betis. They've lost to 20th place Almeria. It's a different ball game then, and it hasn't happened, and unfortunately it won't happen. This won't be the last time this happens this season, and it'll probably be too late. We'll probably drop points normally again, and then it'll be 10 points away from Real, and then there's no way, you know. So I think, for me, I think that's a shame. It takes away the integrity of the league a little bit. It's like, okay, and I always find Real Madrid do it after they've had a poor season. It's like the season after. It's like, yeah, you're not getting away with that again. Like Florentino Perez, he just turns the screw, and it's clear conversations being had because I'm sorry, like that handball on Vinicius, yeah. The referee's obviously watched it and seen a bloke's just score with his arm and he's blown his whistle. He's given a foul to Almeria. Why is Hernandez in the VAR then, who, by the way, I want to put on record, Real Madrid fans claim this guy's a Barcelona fan? Well, he isn't. You know, none of them are. They claim that he's the most culé of the referees in La Liga. He isn't, and he never has been. He's the same one that disallowed Neymar's goal that was halfway over the line against Betis, by the way. These are the guys they claim are all being paid by Negreira. Like, this is incredible. Anyway, he then...
They're doing a great job of hiding it, I gotta say.
They are. It's just, that's why I thought, yeah. And he, guys, I don't know if anyone can explain this to me, as a qualified referee, has watched that, seen Vinicius, and he said, you're going to have to take a look at this on the monitor because I think this is a legal goal. And then the referee's going to watch it and said, oh, you're spot on, it is a legal goal, let's give it. How has that happened? Like that takes away the integrity of the league for me. Yeah, I think it's piss
poor. The federation were supposed to start showing us, you know, the VAR communications. They had a statement about that, and they have gone completely silent about it. Completely radio silent.
Yep.
And like Paulo was saying, what I think the difference is that this time around, I like how it's not only transcending past, Barca communities and Spanish communities. I think now it's becoming. I've seen more European, accounts, more people around the world mentioning that, and I think that's a difference. That's a difference that before it hadn't been done so, and now simply the sheer robbery, the sheer change of it. I have seen only the handball of Vinicius Junior. I want to see all of them because there's certainly more than one.
Yeah.
I think that it's even just that, even the handball, it's crazy. Like, I cannot believe how come we guys that, like, I'm almost blind, dude. Come on. How the hell can I see that's a handball? You can put pause on your freaking TV on live television. Are you telling me you cannot pause the game there, zoom in, watch it, and it's crazy. Honestly, it's crazy. He probably was taking a piss, and like they say, go. Like, it needs to change. It needs to change
for me,
because. Yeah.
I was just going to say, for me, that makes it scarier when it's so obvious because obviously the referee can see it's hit his hand. He's just gone, but we want to give Real Madrid the goal. There's no explanation for that because obviously by the laws of the game, he knows it's a handball. Yeah.
I think that referees sometimes, I heard Mateus Laos said this, and even other English referees said this, that even Mateo Laos, who's like, we hate him. He's a shit referee. Even him admitted that he has, like, taking some decisions where they weren't the correct ones just because of the sheer amount of the clubs, the games, the sheer pressure of what that goal decides and entails. And I think that's the same thing with these referees. Even though you might not get paid, even though you might not, get the pressure, get people screaming behind you, send you death threats and whatnot. Nobody wants to receive that, but it's your job, dude. Like, how much integrity can you not have? Like, you need to have this. You need to be able to stick by the right decision, even if that comes your way. There should be more protections if you want for these referees or whatnot. I do not know what's the main problem, the nuclear problem from these problems, but I just believe that they need to stop doing that. Like, come on, what's the worst that can happen? They need to start not looking at the games or how to keep the game entertaining or whatnot. I think they need to go with a fair thing. And the fair thing would be to give it as a handball. And it's not even the fair thing, it's the correct thing to do, right? It's
objectively a handball. I don't know how anybody could watch that and say that it's not a handball. It's just, it's a little bit maddening. But like Xavi said, there's a lot of things that we just can't control. So let's appreciate the parts that we can, which is playing Barcelona football, right? We got to see it today. That's for me. That's the part I want to focus on. Is we got to see some exciting, fun Barcelona football today, and I hope that continues. I know we got that hard challenge coming up on Wednesday, but I just hope we keep this Barcelona.
I am just gonna say one thing. I think that in the long run, let's talk about like 100 years from now, if football's still a thing, hopefully, the Real Madrid model is not going to work. It's not going to continue work. Someday, I think Barca will match them. They even match them right now in I think trophies, right? Like in total trophies.
Real Madrid, I think, is up
101, and Barcelona 102.
One or two,
with the Supercopa.
Because they just won that Super.
Yeah. So it's like what I mean is that
you
can see that the model is not sustainable. At the end of the day, the good always rises, and I think that is one thing that if I'm a Barcelona fan, I can rest assured I can sleep well tonight. You know what I mean? And I think that everyone listening to this podcast should as well, because sometimes it's better. How do you say it? Sometimes it's better to lose or whatnot if you know you have done the ethical thing. Or just silence and nodding your head.
I'll take losing as a Barcelona supporter over winning as a Madrid supporter any day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, boys, anything else we want to get to in this episode?
I just want to ask you, what do you think the impact of continue talking about Madrid getting knocked out of the Copa del Rey? Because that was huge, I think.
Oh yeah, because we didn't mention that.
I think that was huge.
I think that fully puts it narrows their focus, obviously. So it takes Copa del Rey off their plate. I thought that was a pretty exciting match to watch. I tuned in for that one, just knowing that it was going to be a dogfight. Apparently, each of their last 8 matches Atletico versus Real have gone into extra time when it's a knockout match.
Incredible.
The last 8 times that they've played each other. That is wild. It's that intense. And the trash talk back and forth between Vinny Jr. and DePaul, that was pretty impressive when Vinny Jr. is like, who are you? I play for Real Madrid. And DePaul goes, I'm sorry, I'm a world champion. Who are you? Sorry. Yeah, I love that. So, but I think it is it's significant. It's not nothing that Real Madrid got knocked out. So if nothing else, it clears, I think, the path for Barcelona to be favorites.
Stops them getting
Our favorites, but
stops them getting that treble, eh? They've I can't.
One more year.
I actually can't believe that stat, by the way. I just thinking about it. That is. I know it's been a thing for a lot of years. That's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only been United, Barcelona, Bayern, and City, right? Are the only 4 clubs that ever do it?
Inter won the treble with Mourinho.
They did get the treble with Mourinho.
I'm sure of it. Yeah.
2009 or 2010.
Yeah, I think Ajax won one as well. If I'm wrong.
Okay, even then, that's 6 clubs. If Ajax,
you would have thought Real Madrid would have been in the 6, having won 14 Champions Leagues.
Yeah, I guess that's
okay. I got the names.
For those
Celtic
elite clubs:
Ajax, Manchester United, Barcelona, Inter, Bayern Munich, Man City, and there's one more. Can you guess? 3 letters. Starts with P.
PSV.
PSV as well. So welcome to the.
We're making quite the comeback right now. Can we talk about PSV for a second? We don't really want to talk about that, but they are a fun team.
I think.
They got Luke the Goat. They got some American flavors in there. They got a fun team.
They got Dest.
They got Des cooking at left back. He's too good for the Dutch league. He's not Barcelona quality, but he is too good for the Dutch league.
Bless him.
I mean, he's out there just stunting on fools.
So, anything else, or are we wrapping this up?
I don't know. Fingers crossed. Next episode, we'll be talking about Barcelona being in the semifinal, the Copa del Rey. And it'll be all upwards from here. Just good things. If nothing else, let's just ride this wave of positivity. It was a great Barcelona match. We're trending upwards. We enjoyed it. So let us know in the comments below. Drop a like, share, all the things. It helps support the channel. And we want to hear your thoughts. We want to keep the conversation going. So let us know, folks. And we'll be back next week. Another episode of Más que un Podcast with Buga, Pablo, and myself. We'll see you then, friends.